What a state of conscious, what a unique, beautiful state of consciousness. If we could only try to understand it, we could be so free. And that's what you find through humility. You know, what was this again? Humility is nothing but truth, and pride is nothing but lying. Lying causes anxiety. You know, yogis can't lie. That's why it's right there in the first thing with the yamas, right? Nonviolence, and then, you know, truthfulness. Lying will stir your mind up and bring anxiety in your mind. You'll never have it. You'll never make it peaceful. But I think the thing is that unless you're given a good, thorough kind of theology, or a good thorough ontology of the self, you're going to feel the need to place these barriers up that will trigger you. You know, I'm very, very, very small. That's the truth. I'm not small. I'm great. Right. You know, it's like we feel like if we don't do that, we're going to have nothing left. And
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. This is episode 1474. It's November 25th, 2024. And I made it back from Pittsburgh, had a great weekend in Pittsburgh. I feel like I haven't been on the podcast in about a year, but
I checked it. I did some stats, Raghunath.
You did stats of how many podcasts I missed?
Yep.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
It's like a bad report card.
Well, no, I was kind of checking out how we did since we've gotten to India. And then
what are the stats?
I don't remember them exactly, but I think you've missed 9 shows out of the last like 19 or something like that.
It's not bad. Wow. It's like a D+.
Yeah, and then we also just the two of us missed shows as well. So then it got worse, you know.
The moderation, Kaustubha, that's my
point. You got to bring it back up to a level of moderation.
We gotta be moderate. Or we're gonna have to change our subtitle to a daily spiritual podcast to a podcast we do once in a while.
Yeah.
I was exhausted though. I needed it.
I
woke up Saturday morning for Q&A day. I was like, I can't do this.
I told the people, Raghunath. I told them.
I was just like, I've been exhausted.
You got to slow it down.
I know. That's why I didn't do the podcast. I slowed it down.
No. You got to slow down the other stuff so that you can do the podcast.
I know. You'll see when your book comes out. You're going to be hustling all over the world to promote your book. That's what you did.
We'll see.
Well, you got to do it. That's what you got to do. It's like having a baby, Kaustubha. You don't know those things. When you have a baby, you go into different modes. You can't have everything regulated at certain times.
You're doing this
things
before
change. This is a book.
Nothing's changed though.
This is a book. The book is a baby. Write that down. The book is a baby.
That should be the title of your next book. Okay.
Books. So anyway, Kaustubha's live in Mayapur. I'm back at the farm. It's Thanksgiving week. I'm excited to see all my kids are coming back. The house is filled with Sachi's walking around with her peacock right now in the kitchen. And it's gonna be back.
Good to have you back, man.
You know, I got a special appreciation today for Sweet Lady Kate and Timothy Tucker, who are on the show right now. Matter of fact.
What they do?
Well, I'm going to unmute Timothy Tucker if you don't mind, Kaustubha.
Okay.
And where's Sweet Lady Kate? Yeah, it's just a little spontaneous. I didn't tell you about this, and Sweet Lady Kate, I'm going to unmute you guys. You know what they did? These guys were dedicated to listening to the podcast, and then they came upon themselves. They said, you know what we're going to do in our house? We're going to invite people to our house and just have a satsang.
Okay.
A little home program. And, you know, it's one of these things that we heal in our spiritual life. We get reconnected with Krishna in our spiritual life by also giving it to other people. So they went on their own accord. He wrote me like on the day, hey, give me some pointers. I was really like impressed and proud of both of these guys. Timothy, Katie, welcome to the show.
Hey.
How's it going? Good to see you. Good morning. How are you both?
And Katie's a, you know, famous vegan chef herself. What did you cook for the program?
So I made a like a Brussels sprout and quinoa pilaf with like toasted pistachios. It was like over a white bean puree that had like lemon juice and sumac in it.
Oh. And I wasn't invited. Interesting.
Well, just giving you time to rest, you know?
That's right. Rest it up, bro.
That sounds incredible. And Timothy, who came? How did you put it out there?
Well, you had mentioned something about, this being a possibility. You're mentioning that this is a thing that, devotees can do on the show. I don't remember exactly what you said, but recently. And so I was inspired by that because we just recently moved, and we kind of moved a little bit against our will. So I'm trying to make the best out of our new place. And I was looking to bring some life in here. And you talked about doing home programs somewhat recently. And immediately after the show was over, I just made an Instagram for a then non-existent Sangha, and just kept making posts and, trying to find people in the area. We got a small handful of people to come for this one, and another handful of people that seem very interested to come for the program. So it went awesome. We sang together, we ate, we read and discussed Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 verse 8. It far exceeded my expectations, and I was so happy to be able to offer that service and to be able to have a home program to go to myself. So I can't wait to do it more.
We went through this whole period with you guys where you were getting evicted from your home with your little daughter. It was tragic. It was tragic. And we were all trying to figure out how can we help them. You guys settled into a place that was like less than the place you wanted to live, but you turned that place into an ashram, and it's beautiful. And it's such a success story. I'm so impressed. And that's how you get good at and Timothy asked me some questions like, how should I give class? I've never really given a class before. And he just went and well, my pointers were like, read from the Bhagavad Gita. You don't have to be
give a big speech.
You don't have to be, the Buddha sitting down and giving a class. You read from the Bhagavad Gita, you share some realizations, and maybe ask everybody how they got into bhakti, in 3 minutes or less, or 4 minutes or less. And that way you get to know everybody. And once you sing a little, read a little Gita, and take some prasad, it's a party. And it's a very upgraded type of party than the parties we're used to in American high schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel a lot better this morning than the parties I was used to in previous parts of my life.
Got a little prasadam hangover, maybe?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're really impressed, and we just wanted to validate you and appreciate you guys for doing what you're doing. And you never know who, like the hearts that you touch, that could change the trajectory of their life forever. One little Instagram post, and the guy was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting. I live in that same town of Fitchburg, Massachusetts." Anyway, thank you guys for doing what you're doing. And we encourage everybody to do that. Make your home into an ashram by inviting people over, having some satsang, making some prasad, which is an entire meditation in itself. I'm sure, Katie, you were cooking all day Yeah. But your meditation is, how can I serve people with this? You want to share anything about that?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I'm at the community, like the commissary kitchen. And today we're hoping to crank out 60 to 70 meals for the community fridge project. So, I'm here. I got Hanuman with me. He's going to be in the kitchen with me today. And so that's what we're hoping to do. And that's, it's infused with meditation and with, Maha Mantra usually. And just try to upgrade it and get it out to everybody.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much. Really grateful for doing what you're doing, and everybody who's doing like that. It's so impressive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to plug your thing, Kate, just because you didn't. Kate's cooking is you find her at Meta Heart with 2 T's, Meta Heart Kitchen on Instagram if you're so inclined to check out her food.
Yeah, Timothy, put it on the message board as well, and her Instagram account as well. Thanks very much. It's great. And we want to encourage everybody who's listening, who's getting something valuable out of this. This is something you can do. Just open up your home, especially for like the holidays, and just say, yeah, I'm doing you could either personally invite people, or you can just make it open and just simple prasad, read the Bhagavad Gita, sing a little, and life becomes transformed.
There you go.
There you go. Kostuba does that too in New York.
Yeah. I've been inviting people over, like once or twice a week, just to come over and we read together. I like doing that. Simple.
All right. We might do this over the holidays too. Thanksgiving, perhaps over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
Great.
check in with Mara, right? We got to check in with Mara.
Hi, Mara. How are you?
Good morning.
You miss me when I'm gone, Mara?
So much.
Oh, that's what I would need to hear. Oh.
Today's Wear Your Merch Monday. Help us promote the show by wearing your Wisdom of the Sages merch. Take a picture and share it on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll share the post too. Also, if you don't have any merch or you have somebody who wants to get some, we're doing a holiday sale starting today.
Oh, holiday sale.
Yeah, offering 20% off of all merch in our store.
What?
Yeah, so if
I
you
can't
log on to
believe
Wisdom of the
Raghunath
Sages.
is not like wearing like a Santa Claus hat for the occasion or something like that.
I know.
I like
Holiday
Tim
sale.
O'Reilly's punk jacket. He's got like a punk jacket with a painting on the back and studs. Look at that thing.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
so
That's some of the
hardcore.
coolest Wisdom of the Sages merch I've seen.
You can
Hold
make
it,
your
I
own
haven't seen that.
merch.
1 second. For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see that
mean,
again.
Isn't that cool? He's like painted on the back of a studded jacket.
I
Here's the
gotta
deal.
find him.
You could,
Oh, there. Whoa! Get out.
It's pretty
Oh, you got to
cool.
take a picture of yourself wearing that for the.
yeah, post
for-
that.
Yeah, that's got to
please,
go on.
That's got to
and tag us. So here's the deal. It's like if you make your own, we don't get any money from it. But that's okay. We don't care. The idea is that people see it and people say, hey, what's that? A daily spiritual podcast. And some random guy clicks onto it and follows the trail of breadcrumbs and ends up hearing the Bhagavatam on a regular basis. And that's how some of you guys got to this podcast in the first place. It was like a weird trail of breadcrumbs that somebody gave you a card or someone mentioned it to you, or you heard me or Kostuba on some other podcast. And here we are hearing the Bhagavatam on a regular basis. And it's
another thing is that you just meet other people that are into it that you would have never knew. They're like, oh, you're into Wisdom of the Sages. Me
that too. I was in Pittsburgh, Kostuba, doing programs at Zeb from Yoga Factory's place. Such a great Zeb and Andrea Kay and
Good
Ashley O'Hara did a big kirtan
another
at
good
their new
person.
kirtan center. And Pittsburgh's great, by the way. Pittsburgh is great. But anyway, I was like, so has anybody heard Wisdom of Sages? Like at least 3/4 of the crowd just raise their hands. Sometimes I get disheartened when I see people that have been on Zoom and then I don't see them anymore. And I was like, what happened to them? But then when you see people who you've never seen before, traveling distance, they're like, yeah, I listen to the podcast on a regular basis. It's so exciting.
All right, brother.
It's a good week. Anyway, that's our announcements for today.
Let's go move on to the nugget.
What is the nugget, sir?
I sent it to
here
you.
it is. Here it is.
What is it from?
Listen carefully. This is from
Okay,
Carl,
all right.
Carl Jung.
Carl Jung, I think.
Carl Jung. Was he Korean or something? What kind of name is
No,
Jung?
it's like Swiss, I believe.
It's not a Swiss name, is it?
I don't know what kind of name it is, but I'm pretty sure he's Swiss. But maybe someone can help us out on the board.
Google
and let
that
us
up.
know for sure.
It sounds Asian, doesn't it?
He wasn't
Through-
Asian.
Through pride, we don't know. He
German.
never did
German
23
name.
and me.
German people are saying they think he's German.
Okay. Through pride, we are deceiving ourselves.
Oh.
Mhm. But deep down, below the surface of the average conscious, a still, small voice says to us, something is out of tune.
Oh.
If you haven't...
What?
Okay. You know what? There's another thing underneath here, an advertisement for my book that I started reading, thinking it was part of the quote. It was like, if you haven't checked out my new book, Monk to Monk. Okay. Through pride, we are deceiving ourselves, but deep down below the surface of the average conscious, a still small
Conscience.
voice says to us, something's out of tune.
Little voice.
Yeah. It's a costume. It's a costume that we wear, our pride, to impress, to hope that people will like us. The soul desires so much to be loved and appreciated, And we don't even, we're so disconnected from what we are. We'll think, well, will you appreciate my looks? Will you appreciate my sense of humor? Will you appreciate the way I dress? Will you appreciate my strength or my beauty? And we're so desperate for that validation. But the pride just comes in things that are loaned to us instead. So we constantly try to build more and more layers of costumes in hopes to get love. And it's almost like the stripping away of costumes when we're authentic, when we're vulnerable. That's when we actually fall in love with people. When we hear people are actually very soft-hearted and very honest and lead with a type of like humble integrity, that's what's actually the most attractive. Your abs, not your legs. Those externals aren't that attractive. You're a person who leads with their heart. That's the most beautiful thing. And I think deep down we all sort of know that. And the pride of the stuff, of the temporary things, that's the costume. And that's and deep down when we're wearing a costume, he says, Carl Jung says, the small voice says to us something's out of tune. Because there's always a small voice that says, this ain't you. This is not the real you. This is a costume. There's a real you.
You know it. I know it.
Yeah. There's a real you that you're not revealing to people. And I will say for me, and I think this is safe to say, part of the bhakti practice is the cutting away of those costumes. And sometimes Krishna, out of love, rips a costume off like you'd sort of like rip a Band-Aid off of a wound. And you see yourself underneath, and it hurts because you've always presented yourself one way. And all of a sudden, your strength gets ripped away. Your beauty gets ripped away. Your occupation gets ripped away. Some type of thing you were identifying with as you, but wasn't you. It was your ego. It was a costume. It was a layer, right? When that gets ripped away, we're left to deal in that very vulnerable place. And like, that's not me. Oh, Krishna's taking that away. It hurt. It hurts more if you really lead with your ego. But if you're actually trying to find your inner self, you'll just say, thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Krishna. I know what you're doing, Krishna. I see your plan here, Krishna. If you're not a spiritualist and your ego gets ripped away, you get frustrated, you get bitter, you get angry. Why me? This is so unfair. I really leaned into my beauty, into my strength, into my gorgeous this or that, into my wealth, into my car, into my occupation. And when we lose those things, which are in nature temporary, the suffering is tremendous and our whole world collapses. What do you think about that, Kastuba?
The whole world collapsing?
Collapse.
You know, I really appreciate his insight. This was a man who made it his life. I mean, obviously, honestly, I haven't read his books, but, you know, from what I have read from him and heard about him, you know, obviously he was an, I don't know if innovator is the right word, but, you know, he had groundbreaking research into understanding the mind.
Right.
And, you know, that was his, you know, intense focus of his study. And he could see this, you know, like he's speaking kind of Upanishadic truths here, you know, Vedantic truths here, without that background perhaps. But, you know, although for all I know, maybe he did have some background, I'm not sure. But
maybe a sage. I feel people like him, sages from previous life, not just some study of some books, just picking up where they left off.
That could be. That could be. So he says, through pride, we are ever deceiving ourselves. But deep down below the surface of the average conscience is a still small voice that says to us something is out of tune. And that voice, how it's speaking to us, it may, you know, I was thinking, you know, in what forms does that voice speak? I mean, is it like a little, you know, a little Martian in your brain saying,
hi,
you know, hi, something's wrong. It's out of tune, you know, but that could be your feelings of anxiety, you know, that even when we achieve success, even when we reach our goals, you know, we still feel some sense of anxiety, you know, deep down. It may be a little quiet. It may be, It may not speak too loud, but it's still there. It's kind of always there.
Uh-huh.
And it is a great, even for those people that appear most successful, I think it's maybe more often for them that to maintain the facade is so troublesome, so burdensome. It just brings on depression. It brings on anxiety. People collapse. Like you're saying, people collapse because of that.
Sure.
I have a few more nuggets on this idea of pride. Maybe I could read a couple. And some of them are hitting on some of the same points. This idea of self-deception, right? Let's see. Well, this is from Baruch Spinoza.
Baruch.
And he says the greatest pride or the greatest despondency. Okay, so either side of that coin is the greatest ignorance of oneself. Right? If we actually know the self, we find this peace. The more that we try to support anything, prop up something that is not who we actually are, that brings on the suffering. This is from Saint Vincent de Paul. He says, humility is nothing but truth, and pride is nothing but lying.
Humility is nothing but truth, and pride is nothing but lying. Ooh.
Lying to ourselves, lying to everyone else. I was thinking that, they say that the pauper is proud of his penny. Right? Like, in other words, it's not that you have to be successful to embody pride. On whatever level we're at, we feel the need. It's almost like we're protecting ourselves, to have a sense of pride. I think I've shared this with you before, but like, there was a time when I was a bike messenger.
Yeah.
Now, the bike messengers, we just thought we were the coolest guys in the city.
You guys thought you were so cool. I remember that. I didn't want to bring it up, but since you did, you guys thought, oh, we're bike messengers. Who cares?
It's like, that is actually the lowest rung on the totem pole, pretty much.
There was such arrogance with this bike messenger community. I don't know if anyone else understands that, or maybe it's a New York City
we were
thing.
daring and speedy and
cool. You thought the
cool.
cars were like in the way. Screw the cars. You'll hang on to the back of the truck. You guys were the first one. I will say you're the first ones to wear those. What are those bags called? The messenger bags. There's a brand of messenger bag that has become famous now. Well,
they weren't even a brand then. It was just a guy down, I think it was like on Elizabeth Street.
On Lafayette Street or something.
I think it was on Elizabeth Street.
What's the name of that brand?
There was no brand.
It was a brand.
I don't remember any brand.
And they became famous. All the youth group guys used to have it. But anyway.
Yeah, so my point is that we all feel the need to take pride in ourselves in some way, even though it doesn't matter how ridiculously insignificant. And honestly, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, he's going to realize, what the hell am I doing being proud of anything?
He's riding around in a swan thinking he's so cool.
Yeah.
You're riding around on a single gear bike thinking you're so cool.
But beyond that, beyond the vehicle, his power, his influence, his intelligence is inconceivable to us, but he realizes it's puny. It's all relative. And he becomes humbled in the Bhagavatam. We see people become humbled. Now we're reading about Lord Shiva. Now, Lord Shiva is way up there. In a sense, even though he's the son of Brahma, he's beyond. Yeah. Right? He's beyond. They call him Mahadeva, the great one of the devas, you could say the greatest of the devas. He's often called Ishvara. He's by many people, he's seen as the supreme, and he just got humiliated. Well, it seems like he should have been humiliated by what happened. Anyone else would have felt humiliated, but this is the thing. When you're humble, you can't be humiliated. How can the humble be humiliated? there's nothing that fell apart for them because they weren't propping up something false in the first place. It's such a platform of relief, right? Yeah. So he did something, he behaved in such a way that was externally appears so embarrassing. You know, he right in front of his own wife, and right in front of all the sages and it's funny because Vishnu appears as Mohini Murti, the most stunningly beautiful and bewildering female form. Shiva says, I want to see that form. He says, are you sure? You sure? I can bring it on if you want. You want us like full power? Yeah, like I want to see it.
You want a Mohini Murti light diet?
No,
I want the whole form.
Double it.
Yeah. Okay, here you go.
And then not only did like she appear that he appeared as a she in that way, and then Shiva just was like, wow. He appeared in such an with such overwhelming seductive power that Shiva started chasing her. And not only did she run around just like at random, she chose to run right by all the ashrams of the sages, all these sages who like revere Lord Shiva. And, he chases her and he just, what should embarrass anyone. But the crazy thing is that after the whole thing's done, Lord Shiva, he's not embarrassed. He's actually just like, because he's not trying to maintain any image of himself. He's just saying, look at how great you are.
Right.
Like I'm considered so powerful and influential, and look what you can do to me. You're incredible. What a state of consciousness, what a unique, beautiful state of consciousness. If we could only try to understand it, we could be so free. And that's what you find through humility. What was this again? Humility is nothing but truth, and pride is nothing but lying. Lying causes anxiety. Yogis can't lie. That's why it's right there in the first thing with the yamas, right? Nonviolence, and then truthfulness. Lying will stir your mind up and bring anxiety in your mind. You'll never make it peaceful. But I think the thing is that unless you're given a good thorough kind of theology or a good thorough ontology of the self, you're going to feel the need to place these barriers up that will trigger you. I'm very, very, very small. That's the truth. I'm not small. I'm great. Right. It's like we feel like if we don't do that, we're going to have nothing left. And no.
That's why when you give this to someone, just like Timothy Tucker and Sweet Lady Kate, when they give this to other people, the act of inviting people over and teaching them Bhagavad Gita, teaching them that they're not their stuff, they're not their body, they're not their beauty, they're not their wealth. Well, what am I, Timothy? I'm a tiny spirit soul. That's our real identity. And you can't even get proud of that because you think, well, I'm just part of God. I mean, there's a type of, not an arrogant pride, but a sense like I am special, a validity. I feel valid because I'm part of something higher. But all the other stuff that I'm investing pride in, that's why I think the LGBTQ movement needs a new rebranding. Pride. It's a bad word. It's a bad word. Call it something else. Call it, I'm happy who I am. I'm happy what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. But pride represents, I'm pride in something external. Big deal. I'm not going to be pride in my stuff. I'm not going to be proud of my gender preference. I'm not going to be proud of my, hair, my car, of my home. Be proud of what you do in this world, and be proud that, hey, I'm a divine being. That's where I feel the most connected. That's where I feel the most whole.
It's real.
And it's real. It's real. Not something external that's temporary anyway.
Right. I was, where this St. Vincent de Paul says that pride is nothing but lying, right? Humility is nothing but truth. Pride is nothing but the truth will set you free, right? And lying will just bind you like crazy. It's such a fact. Like, how can we be proud of anything? I'll share something. Like back back when I was at Govardhan, you know, I was sick for a couple of days there, right? So I missed the show for a couple of days.
Mm.
There was a moment, it went for about 10 to 20 minutes where I was just on the floor, right? I was really a mess. Like, I won't share too many details about my malady,
Right.
but suffice it to say, it was taking place in the realm of the bathroom. Okay, and
Okay.
and not only was I having those issues, but at a certain point, I felt like I had to throw up, and it was extreme. You know, like I was certain I was going to throw up. I never did, but
7:40 a.m. Kostuma. Keep going.
okay, and then I had this fever kicking up in my body, and I could feel it heating up, and I was just sweating like crazy. You know.
Mm.
And I was on the ground in the bathroom, just suffering intensely. And where is the room for pride? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like any one of us can so easily just be brought to our knees by a little germ, or,
In a
you know,
moment.
in a moment, any of us can be flattened. Any of us can be embarrassed. Any of us can be revealed for just how
Sure.
tiny and vulnerable we are.
Yeah.
Any sense of pride is lying. It really is lying.
You know,
But
I was
yeah,
go
I
on,
was
finish
just
up.
gonna say, but that's not the real us. This body is not me. You know, when we really understand who we are as a spark of Krishna's spiritual energy, that's all truth. And it's not pride, it's actually just joy, you know, to exist at that. And I don't need to put up the triggers to prevent someone from bringing me into that
Right.
level of thought. I should open up and welcome that. Who am I? That's the
Mm.
question, right? Who am I really? Yeah, go ahead,
Y-
please.
I was going to say, I was trying to immediately when we started talking about this, I thought after I started speaking, well, I should only not be proud that I'm a spirit soul, just accept I am a spirit soul. That gives me validation. Then I thought, well, what if people are doing good work in the world? Like or just say, you know what? I neglected my body. Now I'm doing yoga every day or going to the gym every day. Isn't that a good pride? And then I was thinking of people who are successful in business because they're good employers. And I was thinking of Sachi Sutta, our friend, who's like, he's a good person. Why shouldn't he be proud of his meritorious work? And then the more I thought of it, this is what I think about while you speak. The more I thought about it, I was thinking, well, actually, he's not that pride. I mean, he always says, you know, if I was to compliment him about like you run such a good business, you really take care of your employees, you know, you're very honest with what you do. He'll say, yeah, it's just some good karma or some good fortune. They don't
Yeah,
real people who actually work hard, they always give the credit back to somebody else. There is no pride. They
right.
relinquish their pride and gift it back to their source, their inspirations, their mentors, their their gurus.
Yeah, yeah,
There's no room for pride in those who are
yeah.
deeply connected.
True. And you know, if you want to get philosophical about, and this is something we were talking about a show or two ago, um, we're not actually the do. We're just like when you really understand, you understand. I'm allowed to do that for a short period of time, and then I'm not anymore. You know, it's just like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
truth. You know,
yeah.
that's the truth. All right. Why don't we jump into Bhagavatam and hear this? If we can read text 37 and 38, we can hear about Shiva in this state, which is a
Those
really
were very
interesting.
good nuggets, sir.
Good nuggets. Yeah.
You are Nugget Nath,
Thank
Lord
you.
of the Nuggets.
Raghunath, it's not me. I'm really not Nugget Nath. I'm Nugget Das.
You're the servant of the Nuggets. Ryanam namaskrityanam chaivanarottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 12, Text 37.
Lord Shiva now, he's kind of got proverbial egg on the face, right?
He's got egg in the face, but he is, as
He's so good.
explained
He's
immediately, unagitated and unashamed.
Yeah, unagitated and unashamed.
Unagitated, unashamed.
He's not upset at what just happened. He's not also ashamed because he's like, he could have done this to anyone. He's
Sure,
just so.
I mean, if I get embarrassed over leading with my ego, I'm embarrassed. It's humiliating. Lord Shiva is like, well, this is because it's you. Because it's you, my Lord. Why would I be embarrassed? Here's what he says. Seeing Lord Shiva unagitated and unashamed, Lord Vishnu was very pleased. Thus he resumed his original form and spoke as follows.
Okay, that eases the situation.
Yeah, he doesn't rub it in.
Best of the demigods. He went back to his Vishnu form rather than the Mohini form. And just
that eases the situation too. Yeah. Oh, best of the demigods.
Why don't you read the commentary to 37?
Okay. All righty. Although Lord Shiva was aghast at the potency of Lord Vishnu, he did not feel ashamed. Rather, he was proud to be defeated by Lord Vishnu. Nothing is hidden from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he is in everyone's heart. Indeed, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya chaham hridisanavisto mata smritir gyanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and for me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Whatever happened had taken place under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore there was no cause to be sorry or ashamed. Although Lord Shiva is never defeated by anyone, when defeated by Lord Vishnu, he felt proud that he had such an exalted and powerful master.
So his quote-unquote pride is pride in Vishnu, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, next one.
Text 38.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O best of the demigods, although you have been amply harassed because of my potency in assuming the form of a woman, you are established in your position. Therefore, may all good fortune be upon you.
Read this commentary as well, please.
Since Lord Shiva is the best of the demigods, he is the best of all devotees. His exemplary character was therefore praised by the personality of Godhead, who gave his benediction by saying, may all good fortune be upon you. When a devotee becomes a little proud, the Supreme Lord sometimes exhibits his supreme power to dissipate the devotee's misunderstanding. After being amply harassed by Lord Vishnu's potency, Lord Shiva resumed his normal, unagitated condition. This is the position of a devotee. A devotee should not be agitated under any circumstances, even in the worst reverses. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Yasmin stito na dukena, guru napi vichalyate. Because of his full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee is never agitated, even in the greatest trials. This pridelessness is possible only for the first-class devotees, of whom Lord Shambhu is one.
Okay.
Lord Shambhu is Shiva, by the way.
That's Shiva, yeah. So he couldn't be humiliated because he was humble.
He wasn't proud.
He appreciated the whole thing. He was excited about the whole thing in the sense that he spent the early verses in this chapter glorifying Lord Vishnu as supreme. And he's like, you see? I told you.
Sure.
Yeah.
My dear Lord Shambhu, who within this material world but you can surpass my illusory energy? People are generally attached to sense enjoyment and conquered by its influence. Indeed, the influence of material nature is very difficult for them to surmount.
So true.
It's great stuff here. Here's 40. The material energy, the material external energy, Maya, who cooperates with me, this is Vishnu saying, in creation, and who is manifested in the three modes of nature, will not be able to bewilder you any longer. That's
a blessing right there.
Yeah. I'm going to read the purport a little. When Lord Shiva was present, his wife Durga was also there. Durga works in cooperation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in creating the cosmic manifestation. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya yakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The material energy works under my direction and is producing all moving and unmoving beings. Prakriti is Durga. The entire cosmos is created by Durga in cooperation with Lord Vishnu in the form of Kala, time. This is the version of the Vedas. Maya happens to be the wife of Lord Shiva, and thus Lord Shiva is in association with Maya. But Lord Vishnu here assures Lord Shiva that Maya will no longer be able to captivate him.
He's free.
Sukadev Goswami said, O king, having thus been praised by the Supreme Personality, who bears the mark of Sri Vatsa on his chest, Lord Shiva circumambulated him. Then, after taking permission from him, Lord Shiva returned to his abode, Kailash, along with his associates. Ever want to go to Kailash?
Mount Kailash?
Kailash. Arjuna, who's listening to the show, has been there 38 times.
38 times?
38 times been to Kailash. He takes groups of people there. I know. It's did you read that book yet by Indrajumna Swami that he gave us? Indrajumna Swami gave us. It's such a good book.
Did he go to Kailash?
He went to Kailash, and one of his people had to get emergency evacuated.
I hear that kind of thing happens up there.
I know. It was one of these things. It was like he Indrajumna Swami was older. He's like maybe 70 or something, but the person was like a young, super strong, ripped Russian guy. Emergency evacuation, helicopter.
Wow.
Anyway.
People lose their minds up there, too.
People lose their minds. No one climbs it.
You don't climb that mountain.
You don't climb Kailash. But you do a parikram. The parikram is like a 4-day parikram. There's just like little lean-tos to stay in. Simple food.
Yeah.
If you get weak, you go on the back of a pony. It's a whole thing. So you got to get permission by China because part of it lies in China. Yeah. Anyway. What's Mars's book? Okay, what's Mars's book called? So we can give it a plug.
Transcendental Adventure or something like that.
Yeah, Adventures of a Traveling Monk, maybe.
I don't know. He's got a bunch out, but this is was put out by a big publisher.
I'll get it.
Yeah,
okay,
go get it.
I'll read it while you get it. I'll read the next verse. Sukadev Goswami said, O king, having thus been praised by the Supreme Personality, who bears the mark of Sri Vatsa on his chest, Lord Shiva circumambulated him. Then, after taking permission from him, Lord Shiva returned to his abode of Kailash along with associates. I just read that.
I got the book, Adventures of a Traveling Monk, a memoir.
Okay. It's a great book. It's one
Jay said he speaks highly of it.
And it's nice because it's short stories.
It's a bunch of short stories with a beginning, a middle, and an end. You can jump in anywhere. Yeah. I just read how they got attacked right after the war in Croatia.
Serbia,
is it Serbia or Croatia?
It was Sarajevo.
Sarajevo.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great book.
Jay Shetty says, everyone's journey looks different, but this book will give you the courage to walk yours.
Nice. Yes, there's a lot of great spiritual memoirs out there, Kastuba.
Yeah, I can't think of any right now, but I'm sure there are.
There's a few. There's a few out there. That one's one of them. And there's some other ones out there.
Yeah.
I won't say any particular one, but it rhymes with clunk to smunk.
Skunk to junk.
Skunk to sklunk. It rhymes with that. Okay. Oh, descendant of Bharat Maharaj, Lord Shiva, in jubilation, then addressed his wife Bhavani, who is accepted by all authorities as the potency of Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
That's what he says. Lord Shiva said, O goddess, you have now seen the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the unborn master of everyone. Although I am one of the principal expansions of his lordship, even I was illusioned by his energy. What then is to be said of others who are fully dependent on Maya? We are dependent on illusion, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. When I finished performing mystic yoga for 1,000 years, you asked me upon whom I was meditating. Now, here is that supreme person to whom time has no entrance and who the Vedas cannot understand.
Wow.
Sukadeva Goswami said, my dear king, the person who bore the great mountain on his back for the churning of the ocean of milk is that same supreme personality of Godhead known as Saranga Danva. Saranga
carries
is
the bow. Saranga.
the Danva. Saranga, I guess that means the one who holds that Saranga bow, right? I have now described to you his prowess. The endeavor of one who constantly hears or describes this narration of the churning of the ocean of milk will never be fruitless. Indeed, chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only means to annihilate all sufferings in this material world. Assuming the form of a young woman.
You know, this is the beginning and the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam has to do with chanting, right? It's saying, you know, particularly Bhagavatam is meant to give light in this age of Kali.
Sure.
When Krishna disappears, and then how will we associate with Krishna? Through the chanting of Krishna's names. So this chapter was basically a beautiful study in understanding who is Lord Vishnu. That even Lord Shiva himself, it starts out with him praising him, then it moves on to Lord Vishnu bewildering him, and then him just having nothing but Shiva having nothing but appreciation for that. And then Shiva shares with his wife here, you know, this is who I meditate on. This is the person who's beyond time. This is the person that even the Vedas can't understand. And then Shukadeva Goswami winds it up by saying, yeah, indeed, the chanting of the glories of the Supreme Personality of God is the only means to annihilate all the sufferings in this material world. It's not by propping ourselves up artificially by some sense of false pride. You let go of it all, hang on to that which is beyond time, right? The little false identities we prop up, time just eats them away anyway, and that just causes us so much anxiety. Hang on to that which is beyond time, chant his glories, and that will annihilate all your sufferings in this world.
I like this.
Assuming
the form of a young woman and thus bewildering the demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead distributed to his devotees, the demigods, the nectar produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. Unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always fulfills the desires of his devotees, I offer my respectful obeisances.
So nice. Thus ends the Bhakti purports to the 8th canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled, The Mohini Morti Incarnation Bewilders Lord Shiva.
Now, before we get to our takeaways, I'm going to just give a shout out to Miss Mara for making me this magical clove water tea. The magic of cloves, Mr. Kostuba. Clove water tea mixed with some saffron, I think. Is that what you put in it?
Yeah, and some ginger as well.
And some ginger. This stuff should be bottled and put in your Wisdom of the Sages recipe book. You should have a whole section on healing teas. This is amazing.
Thank you, Raghunath.
Clove water.
Ready for some takeaways?
Yes. Yes.
Raghu saw a reel yesterday on the benefits of clove water, so he was inspired.
I was inspired to ask her to make it for me.
Yeah.
And Raghunath has always wanted to do commercials, so you just give me something.
Exactly. It all fits together.
Let me tell you about this clove water.
All right.
I'm Raghunath. I'm exclusively drinking clove water now. And look at me. My hair is growing back.
All right. Make your home an ashram and serve devotees.
That's Lady Katie and Timothy Tucker.
Yeah.
Good job.
Share bhakti and transform your life.
Yeah. Yes.
Our pride is a costume.
Oh, yeah. Our pride is a costume. Boom. That's it. I'm going to make an Instagram post out of that.
Okay. Lead with heart and humble integrity to be the most attractive.
Too long for an Instagram post, but yes.
Sometimes Krishna rips off our costume of strength, wealth, beauty, etc.
And you're there naked.
Yeah.
Leaving me naked, leaving Kostub on that bathroom floor.
Suffering.
suffering on his knees. Why have I been so proud?
Why have I been proud?
Why have I been so
Look at
mean
me
to
now.
Raghunath?
Look at me now.
Did you think of me, Kastuba?
You want me to be suffering there, saying, "Oh, this is because I'm so mean to Raghunath." That's your little fantasy there.
Maybe whatever will enhance your life. That'll enhance your life. Maybe it'll help.
All right. You're queuing up the music today, Kastuba. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I'm all queued up.
Okay. When you're humble, you can't be humiliated.
What was that TV show where you'd be like, What was that?
That was one with Rerun. I forget the name of it.
Oh yeah, Rerun. I'm gonna start saying that on the show.
Please don't.
Please don't.
We can be.
What's happening? Yes.
We can be flattened by a tiny bug in a moment. There's no room for pride in those who are deeply connected.
Isn't it amazing what is stored in our memories? Like I haven't thought about in like 30 years.
It was way down there in the subconscious
surface
mind.
To be resurrected.
Release it and let it go. Never to
I'll
take
continuously release it. Yes.
And
hearing transcendental literature alleviates suffering and is never fruitless.
That's right.
And even a bike messenger can be proud.
They're all proud.
What do you mean?
Actually, not all of them.
All of them.
There are some humble ones.
Were you humble, bike messenger?
No, I wasn't humble.
Yeah. I secretly envied them. The name of the bike, Dan Murphy put on the board. The brand was DeMartini.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Right? DeMartini. And you did have to go to like a basement to get it.
It was a basement on Elizabeth Street, I think.
Yeah, Liz, something like that. Somewhere around Soho.
Yeah.
I had one.
They were all
kids
that
had them.
light blue color.
No, they're all different colors.
Not at first, Raghunath. Not at first.
Well, whatever. The whole youth crew had them. We wore them. It was part of our identity.
I see.
Envying the bike messengers.
Sonny the Cat.
Mott Street, Dan Murphy says. It was on Mott
Sonny the Cat saying Mott Street. Maybe it was Mott Street. I just remember the general area.
Yeah, that's
Sonny the Cat knows all these. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, you know what? Who I want to see offering their food? I want to see Justine Stromboli. Justine Stromboli, you got to take all those Strombolis you're baking and have a little altar in that no one can see, but just you, and you offer your pizzas here before.
While you were away, Raghunath.
Huh?
When you were away, I asked Justine, "Are you comfortable with the nickname Justine Stromboli?"
And what did she say?
She was like, "Yeah, I'm into it."
Oh, all right, great. So Justine Stromboli, you have a little altar. You take that pizza, and right before you put it in the box, or maybe after you put it in the box, they'll be waiting for it, and you'll just say, 1 second, I'm going to say a little prayer over it. And you say, "Oh, Krishna, please accept this pizza." Boom, and you hand it right to them. You make a little offering, and you make your pizzas. You could even offer all the ingredients first. Make one pizza, make that the offering, and then in your mind,
then all the rest of the pizzas are
all the rest of the pizzas.
Yeah, I think you do it first thing in the morning, or the first pizza of the day.
First pizza of the day. That's an offering. If you go to a Chinese restaurant or a Thai restaurant, they do that also. I think they do it to the demigods, but the Nagas, I don't know who they're offering it to, but they're offering
Nagas.
it to somebody. The Nagas. Sometimes they worship Nagas. But anyway, you can offer. They all have little altars. They make a little offering. Justine Stromboli can do that. Anybody in the food industry? I want to go to Tim O'Reilly's punk satsang. That's what I want to go to. Where does he live? Philly-ish?
We got Kelly Becker here this morning.
Shivji, Thai restaurants. That's who they offer to. Thanks, Viva. Kelly Becker's back.
Kelly Becker, Linda, and I are all rocking our Wisdom of the Sages hoodies.
Oh, yeah. It's that time of year to rock the Wisdom. You guys were all wearing the same color one as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we're all twins, triplets.
Linda has it.
It's Cody's doing a
Oh, Saraswati too, maybe.
Hi, about Cody. And Amanda. I wonder if they're together. Amanda.
A lot of people wearing merch today, Raghunath.
A lot of people are wearing merch, except me and you.